people's behaviors going to change, or are they just going to find different ways to be terrible? I suspect it's going to be the latter. But hello, friends. We're back. We're Black and Curious. I'm Candrin.
What up, what up? It is Deja. How y'all doing?
Hello. If you've never been here before, welcome. We do a cross section of pop culture in real life. And today we are back with more Diddy news because there's always Diddy news, apparently.
That
Uh,
there is.
Yikes. Wow. So, where you want to start?
Baby, let's start at the top of our list. Actually, let's take it back. A couple of weeks ago, Danielle Smith's article came out
Wait,
and
hold that,
basic
because I think that goes with let's talk about Dawn first, because I think it all goes together. Let's do Dawn
okay.
first.
Well, yeah, now she's coming out and suing him for what exactly I don't know, but what I do remember is that um she in her what is it called? Deposition? Not deposition. What is the legal words, friend?
For what her complaint?
Yes, there you go.
Okay,
Thank
okay.
you. In her complaint, she basically is corroborating what Cassie said happened to her because she was there at times.
Mm-hmm.
And also she corroborates some of what Danielle's article said had happened because she says in that complaint that he threatened her if she ever said anything, like he offs people.
Yeah. And he locked her in a car that didn't have handles on the inside
Which is
of her.
insane.
So she had to like call her stepdad or something from Baltimore to come get her. Just like, what is happening here? What is happening? So here's the thing, and this is why I wanted to hold Danielle for a second, because this is like her article was really good and well written, and just to me it was just excellent because it's the type of writing that we grew up with, really. um but it just drove home this like complicit by ambition sort of thing to me, because it's like with a lot of these situations, it's like, of course, Dawn is though basically the member of Danity Kane that went on to do the best. She did the Diddy Dirty Money, which was like a whole additional thing. Um, Likewise, like Danielle Smith had to endure abuse by this person. Um, Not the physical abuse, but just like torment basically from
Hmm.
him. And it's like, especially women, and honestly, we kind of touched on this a little bit in the Dallas Cowboys thing that we talked about last week. It's just like women are just supposed to go along with it. And then when it comes out down the road, it's like, well, why didn't you say anything? It's like, because it would have ended my career.
Hmm.
And it's just so unfortunate. And as this reckoning is happening, I sincerely hope that there's going to be some sort of mechanism for having a conversation and continuing to have a career. Because how often do we see like people come forward and we just don't hear of them? They're a troublemaker, they're this, they're that, and it's just like, where is the space to be able to come forward and to continue to do the things that you love?
Right. I mean, back then there wasn't one. There was
Right.
no lane. So you had women like Dawn just kind of getting the short end of the stick no matter what. Like even because I think her complaint she also speaks to stepping in, trying to stop incidences that were happening in her presence and her being threatened then. So it's just
Yeah.
kind of like, what do you do? You
And
can't, there's no way to fight that large of a machine.
yeah. And I think there needs to be a conversation, and obviously it's ongoing and it's being had, but there has to be a conversation too about like the men in the room. What y'all been doing? Because y'all are quiet too. You know what I mean? And I'm
They've been
saying,
doing the same shit, apparently,
and
allegedly.
yeah, and I understand like with Diddy, he was, especially during that time, a very, very powerful, like a force. in
Mm-hmm.
hip hop. So it was like literally anybody who went up against him was probably gonna get, some repercussions. But at the end
Mm-hmm.
of the day, it's like I want to know how we're improving this. Like, yes, everybody is coming forward now, but are we creating safer spaces for people?
I don't imagine so. Because I feel like now the men feel unsafe because all these things are coming out from the past. But if you weren't doing anything, then there wouldn't be anything to be afraid about.
Yeah,
Um, I also, with all these stories coming up, I look at, even hater or lover, Amanda Seales said a lot of shit about the industry years ago, and
right.
as to why she left and was no longer trying to even be like um a commentator, a hip hop commentator, because of the ways in which she was like pressed upon to be and do certain things. And they all like, oh, that's that light-skinned girl always talking shit, da, 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 da. But like now, here we are several years later, and she too is being vindicated
Yeah.
to a
So,
degree. Like, when they're not necessarily, I haven't heard anything come out to state that her incidences were true, but at this point, you cannot deny with all the shit that has come out in the last couple of years.
yeah. So I guess, like, I mean, yeah, we're talking about it all the time, and Diddy is constantly getting all these new allegations and all the things. But I just, to what end, I guess, is someone going to be better protected in the future because
We'd
of
like to
this
hope so.
reckoning? Because of this reckoning, are people's behaviors going to change, or are they just going to find different ways to be terrible? I suspect it's going to be the latter, but yeah, I don't know. It just troubles me. It just troubles me that somebody could continue to do this type of stuff for decades, really.
Decades.
And
From the 90s and beyond. So for in the 90s when the shit was happening, nobody said or did anything about it to stop it or quell it then, and it just got gradually, well, not even gradually, rapidly worse and worse as the machine grew and the years went on.
yeah, yeah. So, and then like I mean, we've talked, I think I've said this before, even when like a Tom Girardi from Housewives of uh, Beverly Hills, and
Hmm.
I think we have a news article on him later on, but um, like he basically got to enjoy his whole life and all his money, and like now he
That
has dementia, he's in a home, and yes, he's found guilty, but like at the end of the day, to what end? Same for
it
Diddy.
don't
It's
even
like,
matter.
and
Hmm.
granted, Diddy is not quite, he's not that old, but it's like he's had a good time. He's
Hmm.
enjoyed his life. He's had houses. He's had all of the things. And
Hmm.
so it's like, yeah, like I said, to what end? We can move on. Like the Carisha Please interview, that was a few weeks ago too. And basically she said what I thought that she would say, which was basically like that wasn't the one, that wasn't the Diddy that I experienced.
Hmm.
Which maybe.
But you know, the conspiracy theorists out there are alleging that she's still under his regime, and like she can't really say too much. She's not allowed to disparage him in any sort of way, kind of like the R. Kelly girls. People are still saying that she's still under his regime based upon there's some sort of necklace or something that she wore in that interview that was tracked back to something that Cassie had on at some point.
Okay.
So they're it's like the TikTok conspiracy girls out here reaching. And I mean it could very well be true because they say that the stuff that he was into was very cultish.
Yes.
So
So anyways,
who knows?
we'll see. I guess we'll see in another 5 years what's going on with Carisha, but I I did appreciate the fact that she was kind of like, look, like we used each other. Like, which is what we all
I
knew.
mean, say the girl. Say
It
girl.
was right there. She was true to her persona. She was like, we used each other. I felt like he was, I was young and hot and he was in my face, and I was obviously he was teaching me a lot. He had been in the industry for a long time, and so I got that, and it is what it is.
We each got something out the deal.
Yeah, which
And
I
there
think
you
is
have
decent because
it.
Carisha Please has continued, and I know so everybody cannot handle it. I enjoy it. I know it's not for everybody because she is a lot I don't even think she's a lot. I just think like you have to be able to understand what's happening
Mm-hmm.
um, in a way. But
Mm-hmm.
Carisha Please is ongoing. She looks great. She looked phenomenal with her interview with Rick Ross. Good Lord, her stylist just ate that down. Um,
I don't watch it, so I don't know. I'm not
well,
familiar.
I'm more so I didn't watch that episode. I was more so talking about what was circulating on social media as far as like her outfit and just she just looked great. Like her stylist just knocked it out of the park. So what else do we have on the Diddy debacle list?
The cartel tried to sue him.
I don't remember what that was.
I don't know what this is either. Well, we can move on. Other lawsuits. There's a inmate in Michigan who is had filed a lawsuit of sexual assault lawsuit against him, and at this point, Diddy's lawyers are saying that this is a fictitious lawsuit because Diddy don't even know this man.
Yeah.
Um, so
But he was granted a default judgment. Apparently, I've heard mixed results about this one. I've heard like he didn't know that the lawsuit even existed, so maybe he wasn't
yeah.
served properly. So they were granted a default judgment, but hopefully that will be overturned because again, I don't want people to get things they aren't owed, and and plenty of people are truly owed things out of the Diddy funds, and I would not like to see them going to someone who does not deserve.
Okay, so the cartel thing, it
Yeah.
says from X, an alleged Sinaloa cartel member filed suit against Diddy and claims Puff ruined his drug business after trying to arrange for minors to be brought to one of his parties. A judge dismissed the suit because the cartel member's business is not legally protected interest.
You deal drugs.
So
Please stop.
that's crazy.
That's
The things that like guys, we compile these lists and then we'll come back to them like weeks later sometimes. So like yeah, sometimes we don't know. We gotta click the links.
also that was from Double XL, so we'll put the link
Yes.
down below. But it's like, but this is a little side note for people.
Mhm.
Per the tax code, you owe taxes on illegally gotten money. That's how
Well,
people get got. So it's like, yes, drugs. That's not, you cannot sue anybody for drugs. However, if the government is like, girl, you owed us all these taxes because you sold all those drugs in the tax code.
well.
Just so you know.
Um, what else do we have in here?
I think that's about it.
Oh, Diddy and Daphne Joy recently, as of last week, they have been subpoenaed by a grand jury.
Who's Daphne Joy?
She, I want to say, is one of his children's mothers and is also, hold on.
Peoples, it is it the newest one?
Yes, this came
Oh,
out
okay.
last week. So, I have the clip from TikTok if you want me to play it.
No, that's okay. I just wanted to know who she was.
Yeah, I think she's also connected to 50 Cent too.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
So y'all get down in the comments if you know what I'm talking about. But this literally came out last either earlier last week or the week before, like late the week before.
Oh,
But yeah, because this one I don't have a date on this. I just know that it came through.
okay. Well, ongoing,
Child's
ongoing.
always something happening. Always something happening. Back to the Danielle Smith article. Did you have anything else you wanted to add to that?
Not really.
The long and the short is you withheld that type of trauma for so many years. Granted, Danielle was not directly traumatized in a way that she was traumatized by default by his actions, but she also suffered an assault herself in the late 90s, early 2000s. And then to be around that environment, I think absolutely to your point, silent anger is causing autoimmune disorders in women of color.
Yeah. And I mean, I think it's not just obviously this type of situation. It's more. It's
Yeah,
like black
this is
or
one of many.
yeah, and also like women of color in the workplace are just are kind of like instructed to behave a certain way and not express anger. You don't want to be seen as the angry black woman, or you
Hmm.
don't want to be seen as, just angry in any situation. So you're eating a bunch of shit. And then you're getting sick down the road. So I
Hmm.
think the ambition by like complicit by ambition or whatever, what I was calling it, it's like it permeates and it's throughout the business world, throughout the legal world. Jesus Christ. Ugh.
Yeah.
Horrible. Law firms are awful. I feel like they've been
Notoriously
trying to
bad.
make an effort to do better. However, a lot of these places are not set up for women and especially not women of color, and it, we just get the short end of the stick constantly.
Child, Kendra got a ghost. They be turning off her light.
So,
But
anyhow,
yeah, no, I get it. Like, I, having been full stop as a person of color and having been in different environments as a woman, the ways in which you just, it's too much eating crow.
yeah,
And after a while, that eating crow is causing you to have like all types of psychosomatic symptoms. I have definitely suffered that.
absolutely. So, you know, it's just unfortunate. It's just unfortunate. And I think hopefully, at least, um, women being in leadership positions can create safer spaces for or and being founders of companies, and we can create better spaces for ourselves and for the younger generations instead of just accepting what has been always has been done, which I think is
Yeah.
yeah, I think because I think she would have probably been a boomer boss, and it was just like she just turned into a very harsh man. Like
Mhm.
she just acted like a chaotic man, and it was just like, girl, where is the compassion? Like the things that we bring into the workforce are good too.
Mhm.
And we can create better environments, but instead she just ran it like a tyrant, like a tyrannical man. So
Yeah. I've had that, and I've also had, I think we've talked about this before, but having Black women in leadership and maybe even put them in the positioning of being boomers, but like they were even worse than the counterparts.
yeah. So I think
So
we have a lot to do. We have a lot of work to do around creating safe spaces to be, yeah, to be, period. So
we'll probably have more conversation around this at a later date. But of course, thank you all for watching. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. And if you have anything that you want us to talk about specifically in the future, send us an email with some bullet points and we'll look into it. All right.
talk soon.
Bye,
Bye.
friends.